It is getting to be the time of year when allergy sufferers begin to feel the yearly burn of the allergies. And with that usually comes a little bit of a stuffy nose. If it goes too far, you can start to get sinus pressure. Or maybe you have sinus pressure because of a cold. I'd like to show you some things that you can do at home to help ease that sinus pressure, help things to drain, and really get that gunk out of your sinuses. You can think about your sinuses a little bit like water. So think of a stagnant puddle and how yucky and gross it gets, like a puddle in the parking lot or something, just gunky and yucky. That's what your sinuses are like if there's no movement. Your snot gets so thick and it just doesn't want to come out. Well, that's a breeding ground for bacteria, and your body sends more and more mucus to the area to try and bring white blood cells there to clean it out, but you're just producing things faster than your body can really get a handle on. Now, imagine water that's a flowing stream. So a little stream coming out of the mountains. That's not likely to get all the yucky stuff that a stagnant puddle would, because you've got that flow happening. That's what we want to happen in your sinuses, and that's why it's important to get that movement in there. A little aside is that when you take something to dry up your sinuses, then you don't ever have the chance of having that flow. But it doesn't mean that the bacteria is not there, so that can really lead to sinus infections if you're not careful with how you use those medications. So follow along. I've got a few areas that I want to talk to you about that are really helpful for getting the sinus flow going. So the first place is right here above your eyebrows. And what you want to do here is put a good amount of pressure and just pull across. I really like to use my thumbs on this one, so I'm just using this flat part of my thumb, and I'm putting a lot of pressure as I pull apart. And then you're going to come to a spot right here, about right here. Everybody's anatomy is a little bit different, where you feel a little bit of a ridge and you kind of catch. And you want to hold that pressure there. Now I'm putting a good amount of pressure, enough that you can really feel it. Of course, you don't want to injure yourself or bruise yourself, but you want enough pressure that you can really separate the bones of your cranium. They have some wiggle and movement in there, and that's what you want to do. Put some pressure and allow those sinuses to open up. That's for your frontal or top sinuses. Now you can do the same thing for the sinuses that are right here too. And this is where most people start to feel the sinus pressure. This usually feels a little bit more like a headache. This is where people say, oh, my sinuses are really full. This is super uncomfortable. And you're going to use that same technique, but you're going to start at the bridge of your nose, and you're going to go across like this. This looks really attractive, doesn't it? Just go across. Hopefully you won't be doing yours on video. Go across like this. Yeah, and you're gonna hold it right there with a good amount of pressure, just like that. Right on there, there's another ridge right here, and you're gonna hold it there. And generally, you do that 2 or 3 times, and you'll really start to feel some drainage in the back of your throat and then top of your nasal cavity. And if you do that while you're in a hot, steamy shower, you're gonna get even more bang for your buck. It's a great way to really loosen things up. Now there's 2 more spots that I want to talk to you about. One is right here behind your jawline, and what you can do to really get movement in there is to grab a hold of your earlobe and just kind of give it a gentle circle while pulling. And you want to really pull it. Not enough to hurt yourself, but enough that you can kind of feel it move and feel it kind of crinkle a little bit. And once you've done that, then you're going to take your finger and you're going to go right down along your jawline, just like this. And by this time, you should really feel some movement in your sinuses. Typically here, people will will have a really sore spot. Some of your jaw muscles, your little pterygoid muscles attach right here. One of them does. And so sometimes that'll be really tender, especially if you have some fluid in your ear. It can get tender there. So you're going to do that a few times until you really feel that flow, and then you're going to bring that all the way down your neck like this. I don't even have any sinus stuff going on, and I can kind of feel a little bit of sinus release happening. A little bit that I didn't know about. Okay, so once you've brought that down your neck, then you're ready to go to the last spot. So the last spot is on the back of the neck. And these are technically at C2. If you love body work and you know all about your body, this is at C2. But it's going to be right here. So you're going to feel down the base of your skull where your skull ends and your neck starts. And then you're just going to come down just a smidgen, and you'll usually feel a sore spot. If you don't feel a sore spot, don't worry about it. You're just going to take all 4 fingers and start to rub that area. Now, if you do feel a sore spot, that's your spot to hang out on, because that is an acupressure point that will help to release sinuses. And if you love essential oils, you can even put a little bit of lemon or eucalyptus diluted on that area too. So those techniques will really get your sinuses flowing. I hope that they help you during this sinus season. And you can use these on your kids too. Just make sure that you're communicating with them so that you're not putting too much pressure. And we want to keep our little kiddos comfortable and not scare them off for next time. So if this tip helped you, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear some feedback from you. We have videos on YouTube and our Facebook page all the time, and we'd love for you to check out all of those resources too at HealthWorks TX.